Part 1, we showed that satellite radar detected structures beneath a mound on the Giza plateau that mirror the subterranean layout of the Great Sphinx. The geometry was exact, the theology demanded a pair, and the mound had never been excavated. But radar scans are one thing. What does the site actually look like on the ground? In early 2025, independent researcher Trevor Grassi walked the perimeter of the mound and documented what surrounds it. Within 100 meters, there are over 100 vertical shafts cut into the bedrock, squared, typically 2 to 3 meters across, and they descend straight down into the limestone. Some are built into the tops of mastabas, the flat-topped rectangular platforms that fill the western cemetery. Others stand independently between them. The shafts are packed so closely together that walking between them is like navigating a labyrinth. Nearly every one of them is filled with sand. These shafts are conventionally classified as tomb entrances. Each mastaba supposedly sits above a burial chamber, but the layout presents a problem that has never been adequately addressed. The mastabas of the Western Cemetery were not built one at a time over centuries. They are arranged in ordered rows with consistent spacing, coded almost in the way they are laid out, as if following a single coordinated plan. The sarcophagi found in some chambers span dynasties, from the early kingdom through the late period. You do not build 400 underground chambers simultaneously for rulers who will not be born for another 2,000 years. Some shafts do contain burials. That is not in dispute. But the presence of a burial does not prove that burial was the original purpose. Repurposing older structures as tombs is among the best documented practices in Egyptian archaeology. Temples became churches. Pyramids became quarries. The question is not what these shafts contain now, but what they were built for. The density alone challenges the tomb explanation. If each shaft terminates in an isolated chamber, the underground layout would consist of hundreds of tiny rooms, separated by thin walls of bedrock, packed shoulder to shoulder. That makes no architectural sense for individual tombs. It does make sense if the shafts are access points, light wells, or ventilation for a connected system beneath them. Camera drops into some of these shafts have confirmed depths of over 30 meters. A 100-foot paracord lowered into one shaft reached its full length without touching bottom. The deepest documented shaft on the plateau, the Osiris shaft near the Sphinx Causeway, descends over 30 meters through 3 levels. And yet, the formal documentation covers only a fraction of the total. Hermann Junker's excavation records from the 1920s catalog depths for perhaps 30 or 40 shafts. There are closer to 1,000 across the western, eastern, and southern cemeteries combined. Now here is where the mound becomes significant. A balloon photograph, taken approximately in 1910, published in Junker's excavation records, shows the northwest corner of the plateau. The mound is not there. The ground is flat. Between 1920 and 1930, as Junker and George Reisner conducted their extensive excavations of the surrounding mastabas, the sand and debris they removed was dumped in this location. The mound that sits above Biondi's structural anomalies is not an ancient feature of the plateau. It is a 20th century spoil pile. But in that same 1910 photograph, at the eastern end of where the mound would later be built, a small structure is visible. It sits precisely where Biondi's scan shows the deepest shaft anomalies. Something was there before the spoil pile covered it. Google Earth imagery from 2003 shows what appears to be a shaft opening on top of the mound, directly above the subsurface anomalies. By 2017, the shafts along the northern edge were still completely buried. They were only uncovered in subsequent years. And during that same period, a Japanese archaeological team working at the nearby G4000 Mastaba complex was documented removing sand from one area and depositing it into shafts in another. The entrances were being filled, not cleared. This is not the only location at Giza where a second Sphinx has been proposed. In 2017, Egyptian archaeologist Dr. Reda Abdel Halim identified a heavily weathered formation in the southern cemetery. The formation is carved from the same Mokattam limestone as the Great Sphinx. Its interior contains chambers cut directly from the bedrock, not constructed from blocks. Inside, there are false doors carved into the walls, human figures in relief, and multiple shafts descending from the chamber floors into undocumented depths. A vertical fissure cuts through the back of the formation, similar to a known fissure that runs through the body of the Great Sphinx. The horizontal banding of soft limestone eroded by wind matches the weathering pattern on the Sphinx itself. Whether this is a Sphinx, a heavily eroded mastaba, or something else has not been determined. What is clear is that it contains engineered spaces carved from living rock, with sealed access points that have never been publicly investigated. Several of these entrances have been blocked with cement and fitted with steel gates. Others are open, but their floors are buried under meters of sand. The chambers that are accessible show carved bedrock of considerable quality. No block construction, no mortar, solid limestone shaped from the inside out. A third proposal came in 2025 from Italian researcher Damiano Piras, whose book, The Dawn of a New Sphinx, presents a geometric hypothesis placing a second sphinx beneath the northwest mound. His argument is based on spatial relationships between the existing sphinx, the pyramids, and the plateau layout. He is explicit that this is a hypothesis, not a confirmed discovery. But his proposed location converges with Biondi's radar anomalies and sits directly above the area where the 100 shafts are concentrated. 3 researchers, 3 different methods: textual analysis, subsurface radar, and geometric calculation. 2 of the 3 converge on the same mound. The third identifies a separate formation with its own unexplored underground chambers. None of them claim proof. All of them point to specific locations that can be investigated with minimal intervention. And this is what makes the situation remarkable. The barriers to investigation are not technical. These shafts are not sealed beneath tons of bedrock. They are not underwater. They do not require drilling or demolition. They are filled with sand. Clearing sand from a vertical shaft is among the simplest operations in archaeology. It poses no risk to the structures above. It damages nothing. It requires no permissions beyond access to the site. The Giza Plateau is the most studied archaeological site on Earth. It has been surveyed, mapped, scanned, photographed, and excavated for over 2 centuries. And yet, within 100 meters of where radar has detected mirror image structures beneath a modern spoil pile, there are shafts cut into 4,000-year-old bedrock that no one has cleared to the bottom. The Second Sphinx may or may not exist, but the shafts do, the chambers do, the radar anomalies do, and the sand that blocks them can be removed in days. Whatever is down there, the fact that no one has looked is still the real anomaly. If you want to support deeper research and found this journey as fascinating as we did, subscribe to Ancient Epochs for more.